We are back for another exciting episode of the hashtag Wednesday Match Play, and I'm pumped. We were off last week. It was unfortunately my birthday week. Well, I guess fortunately my birthday week, and I went to see my favorite band of all time, and I couldn't commit to doing the hashtag Wednesday Match Play, so I hope you didn't miss me too much. But tonight we've got an awesome guest, and it's a guest that has got a really cool concept, and it's a unique concept, but we're going to get to that. Before we do, I don't really want to start the episode by doing this, but I feel that I kind of have to say something about what's happened in the last week. Since our last episode, Ryan Young, who runs a golf blog, and he's been on a mission to break 80. He's a younger guy, very active, and was a very big part of the Google Plus golf community. Unfortunately, has passed away. I saw it on Twitter during golf chat earlier this week and last night, and I didn't really know how to take it. I was kind of speechless, and I immediately direct messaged Zeb Wellborn, and I said, "Is that real?" Like, I couldn't believe it, but unfortunately it is. And I've posted, if you are a member of the golf community on Google Plus, I've posted and pinned a status update to the top where, if you did know Ryan, I had never met him personally, I only knew him online, but was actually just talking to him a week ago, and that's just kind of weird for me. But if you do know him or did have a chance to connect with him online, leave your comments about your memories there. Zeb also posted a link to a GoFundMe page that has been created in an effort to help raise some money to support his family in this time. But it's unfortunate that happened, and I don't want to start this episode on a negative note, but I just wanted to make sure that I said my goodbyes to Ryan in a fashion that was both live and the ability for me to do that in this capacity. So check out the Google Plus golf community, leave your comments there. It'll be pinned there for the rest of the week, just in an effort to share my condolences to him, and hopefully his wife will see that too, so she knows that we're thinking about him. So now, onto the show, and I am excited because, one, I can pronounce tonight's guest's name, which sometimes I may only say the first name because it's tough to pronounce the name. But we have Jason Becker from Golf Life Navigators, and I know a little bit enough to be dangerous about what this company does, but versus me trying to sit here and explain what they do, I'm going to introduce you to him and let him give us the elevator pitch of what this company is about. So welcome to the Wednesday Match Play.
Thank you, Ricky. I appreciate it. And yeah, first and foremost, our condolences go out to Ryan and his family. We're certainly going to do something to help him out. That's for sure. As for GLN, what we do, we started a program a little over 2.5 years ago or so that ultimately was going to help the baby boomers who are transitioning to the state of Florida and into Arizona. So 10,000 people a day turn 65 for the next 9 years. 1,300 people move to Florida every single day. And so if you're moving to Florida and you're going to retire down there in one of those communities, there's 1,200 communities to filter. And so for the consumer, how would you navigate through all that? And that's where our platform started. We started traveling north. My business partner and I, Lynn Josephson, we're both PGA members. Lynn's a Hall of Fame PGA member at the South Florida section. And we just started having Q&A sessions with private club members from the north and help them understand the nuances of the golf and the retirement communities in both Florida and Arizona, and try to answer those questions for them. And then when they're ready, we would do an individual consultation with them to determine 3 or 4 communities that seem to make the best fit for them when they come down to Florida. So in other words, to help them expedite the entire process, but alongside 2 PGA members, trusted advisors that just wanted to see them get to where they needed to go. And as you can imagine, the overall response to that has just taken off in the last 24 months. Many people that are out there helping us and or that need our help, and we're just excited to be in the forefront of this movement that's never been available before.
Wow, that is, it's hard to think that many people are turning that age and that are moving to Florida. Like, wow. I mean, I'm in Arizona, so I can get that and I can appreciate that. But that's a lot of people that you have some potential clients there. So you said 24 months. It just started then. It just kicked off the ground. But what has the growth been from day one? I mean, I know you're just kind of getting started, but have you seen some immediate growth from that?
Oh, sure. Yeah, the model kind of was intended for the Naples, the Southwest Florida market. That was our goal, just to help those folks out. So where Lynn and I were PGA members in. But we started getting calls for Palm Beach County. We started getting calls for Orlando, Sarasota, Scottsdale, even a few out in Palm Springs. And so for us, it was easy to scale because of our PGA network. We have PGA professionals in every market of the country. And so if somebody would call and needed help in Scottsdale or Northern Florida, for us, it's just a matter of picking up the phone, calling one of our colleagues, sharing with them this information on a particular client and asking them, what would 3 or 4 courses be that you would recommend for these folks to go look at? And so, again, the consumer kind of comes in and is able to leverage our connectivity across the country, expediting it. So Lynn and I don't have to be experts in every market. We have experts there in place with 15 plus years experience, and it's just a very fluid system. So in other words, we scaled very quickly, probably quicker than anyone would have thought in just 24 months.
That is crazy cool. Like you found a need that might not even have been realized and have been able to turn that into something that's not, I mean, yeah, it's profitable, but it's something that will really make an impact and change the lives of these people that may not even know how many facilities and courses and clubs are available to them. So now there are a lot of golf courses out there. Obviously, there are a lot of private clubs, daily fee resort. I mean, you name it. There's a lot of golf courses available to you. So in your opinion, what makes a good club great?
In my opinion, it's really a few things. I think it's longevity of the professional staff there, the head golf professional, the general manager, senior club officials. It's a testament of the club to be at a club 15 or 20 years of longevity in that position. It's a testament to the current membership. It's a testament to the overall financial health of the club. So we really look at those types of things. If we see a club that has a lot of turnover, it's not that we wouldn't recommend that club to a client, but we would want the client to ask when they're in front to get some more information to make sure that the club is financially healthy before they make a sizable investment into their future. So those are really the main things that we look for, Ricky, is to determine if one club is in a better position than the next.
Right. So the Hashtag Wednesday Match Play is presented by Eat Sleep Golf, and they provide a ton of questions every week. And one of the best ones that he sent in this week. So he mentions that you are a niche service, which you are, but how do you find your clients? And I'm a sales and marketing guy, so I'm thinking, are you getting them on Facebook and Twitter and email marketing, or are you printing out flyers, or there's 1,000 ways that you could, but what are some of the main ways that you are getting your clients? Word of mouth might even be one of the popular ways.
To be honest, it is. It's word of mouth. And so there's 22,000 PGA members around the world, probably 10 to 12,000 just across the north at Northern private clubs. And we've partnered with the Northern PGA sections in those areas and have been able to communicate with the golf professionals. And so the PGA professionals in those areas, we'll take it, for instance, in Milwaukee Country Club, when a member comes to them and asks about Florida, and if they have any guidance or help to help get them down there, they know to pick up the phone and give us a call. So it's a kind of a trusted advisor to trusted advisor pipeline, and that's a big reason for our lead gen. The other is PR, basically stories. Gary Van Sickle of Sports Illustrated and Golf Magazine did a piece on us last November. And that piece produced 750 calls in the matter of a couple of weeks. And so this system has never been in place before for the consumer. And so there's not a mountain high enough I can get on to tell the story and to share these testimonials of these real people that have gone through the system. So that the client or the consumer that's out there now trying to filter it on their own, who's going through this daunting process, they have a lifeline. They can call us and we'll help them. And so right now we're just trying to create awareness as much as possible that people can give us a call.
So you might have stolen a peek at my questions because my next question was about Gary. I've actually had the chance to play some golf with him, and I'm curious, do you have a relationship with him before or after? Is he just assigned the story? Does he pick the story? Like, what's his strategy to get in front of you, and have you kept your relationship with him open since that article has been written?
Sure. Yeah, Gary's actually become a really good friend of ours since the article. We met last year at Whistling Straits, and that's when he wrote the article. In fact, I've got video of him doing the interview, and he was throwing his pen up in the air, saying, I can't believe that no one's doing this before. This is fantastic. So, but no, the media has been great. And really it's just reaching out to them, and talking to them, sharing our story ahead of time, giving them some stats on what's going on, and they're generally interested and they want to learn more and write about it. So selling the story to the media has not been difficult at all, and we've garnered a number of new friends because of it.
That is awesome. So Eat Sleep Golf said, what is a bundle community? And this is a good question because I have no idea, and I looked all over your website. So what is a bundle community, and how are they good and or bad?
Well, the bundle community atmosphere is a very important piece to talk about to the consumer. So when we do a consultation, and I talk to Mr. and Mrs. Smith from Wisconsin, and they tell me that they want to play golf 5, 6, maybe even 7 times a week. We know right off the bat that a bundled golf community in Florida is probably not going to be the best scenario for them. And the reason we determine that is the bundled golf communities, what that means is when you buy a home in a community down here, it's a bundle, then your golf membership is included in the home. So if you can imagine, if there's 600 homes in that community, there's essentially probably 1,200 members during the hot season months of January through May. So Mr. and Mrs. Smith, who envisioned playing golf 6 times a week with maybe 1,000 members on the same tee sheet for 18 holes, it's not going to happen. There's not enough room for them. So we know that if they want to play that much golf, we'll then look at just golf clubs only, where you have to buy your golf membership separate, where there's a limit to the number of members, therefore access to the tee sheet. Now, if Mr. and Mrs. Smith love tennis and bocce and health and fitness and all those other programs and want to play golf just 2 or 3 times a week, bundle community is the best scenario for them, and then we'll go in that direction. But most consumers we talk to don't really know the difference or have looked into it enough, and we'll give them a good a Switzerland view of both ends of the spectrum.
So I played a club a couple summers ago, and they didn't have tee times. And I'm thinking, how do you not have tee times? And it was just, it's the total opposite end of that spectrum. I'm thinking there's 1,000 people trying to squeeze on a Saturday morning, and then there's just come and go and play as you want. So I can totally see. Talking about it being a golf club only kind of a concept, this place was like that. So now, can you share one of your, not necessarily recent, but one of your best thus far success stories that you've had from one of your happy clients?
Wow, we've had a number of them. It's interesting. We've had clients that are on a 3 to 4 year plan. I've done a consultation with a client, and they've turned around in 24 hours and purchased membership. It really varies back and forth. We've had clients from the Midwest and the Northeast that have gone through the consultation phase, went to the clubs, gave us their feedback. We fine-tuned it just a little bit, got them into a different club that makes sense at that point, and they've been able to pull the trigger. So, there's not, in particular, everyone kind of goes through the same process of fact finding and surrounding and just being immersed in those environments. But the common theme, I think, for all of our clients that we've placed in those clubs is they seem to know it as soon as they walk on property, before they even play the golf course. There's something inside of you that is kind of, you feel emotionally that this is the right place for me. And I would say that's probably the most common theme behind them all.
So there are a lot of them to choose from, obviously, especially in Florida. What are your 2 or 3 favorite communities that you've worked with? Not ones that you're affiliated with personally, whether you're a member or that you play a lot, but what are some of them from where you're sitting and working with? What are some of your favorites?
Well, favorites, there's a number of them. they all the ones with a really solid management structures, like a Gray Oaks in Naples, Florida, or a Delaware Country Club on the east coast of Florida, all the way up to TPC, Prestancy up in Sarasota. They all get it, and they all understand how important it is to give the prospective member, a wonderful experience when they're on that property. And so when we reach out to these clubs ahead of time with a bio of these folks that are coming to visit with them, they fine tune and tailor their presentation just around what the member is looking for. And those are the clubs that are fun to work with because they get it. They want to be a part of the program, and they want to have a member that's happy to be there. So they're just as excited as we are to make the introduction.
So from where you sit, let's say I'm John Doe Golf Club, what is that process like? How do you get in front of the club to get them to, I mean, not to want to work with you. I mean, you could potentially work with them without them being a part of the conversation, just thinking about the way that the company is structured from what I can tell. But when you obviously you want to have, you know, the handshake and the official connection. So what's that process like? And two-part question. So what's the process like? But then have you ever run into any issues where they've not wanted to be working? I mean, quite frankly, you're out there selling for them potentially. So what's the process like to get in front of that club? And then have you had an instance where it's not worked and the club isn't interested in working with you?
No, sure. Yeah, the process is really pretty simple. Our clubs that are aligned with us are just that we work together in the foxhole on this process of trying to get the right member to them. So for a club, we don't go knocking on doors to enroll clubs to sign them up. We actually wait until we have a potential member for them. And then that way they can see the process. They can see the bio of the person and to take it from there. I haven't had a club yet tell me, no, we don't want to see this person. I mean, that would be foolish, right? You have someone coming in that would be a great fit for the club. So it's something that the golf industry is so traditional, especially down in Florida, that what we created was a very progressive model that we had forethought into the future on how this was all going to happen with these baby boomers. And so the clubs are really digging it and they want to be a part of it. We share an abundance of consumer information, statistics from the north, things that will help them with their marketing efforts. So they can tailor their programming around the motivational factors that our clients are having before they even get down here. So I would venture to say that our platform and the things that we're creating within 24 months now will be game changing in the industry and a pillar of information that's available for these clubs to make better decisions.
That is really cool. So I am glad that nobody said no, because you're right. That might be a little silly to say, no, I don't want your members. Don't bring me potential members.
Yeah, don't bring me.
So you've said baby boomers a couple of times, and that is your target demographic, but the millennials are right behind them. Are you doing anything today to promote to them? And if so, what? And how are you setting yourself up for 3, 5, 7, 10, 15 years from now to be able to be prepared for when those baby boomers are no longer looking for memberships and it's all millennials that are mid-30s, early 40s that are looking for memberships? That is a different conversation, because as a millennial, not that I do, but I may want, talking about traditionalism, I may want, you know, speakers on the golf cart, and I want an iPhone charger, and I want GPS, and I want ordering food services versus carrying my clubs and playing 18 holes and going to the bar. So what are you doing in an effort to prepare for the millennial generation to, I don't want to say replace, but to take over and start infiltrating the baby boomer generation that's currently your target demographic?
Sure. Well, you'll be the first person I tell this to, so you're going to get all the big information first.
Awesome.
We're taking this very seriously, the millennials piece of this. You know, I'm a millennial myself, and one of the things that I dig as a millennial is data and analytics. You know, we put three forms of information in front of me, and I can make a pretty good decision on which one I want, right? So we want to get to the point where we can show you 3 different golf communities and every analytic about all 3 of those communities, including your real estate investment. So, and talk through that with you, so then you can make the better decision. Now, obviously with the millennials, the more automated we can make it, the better. I would love to have a integrative platform online that you could filter, almost like an auto trader, where you could put in different, qualifications and have it filter down. So we're working on that diligently as well. I would even say that our target demo would want that. Our average onboarding client is 55 years old, and they're certainly iPad savvy and would appreciate an online experience. So we're producing those types of things for those folks, but a majority of our current clients would like to have a phone conversation. So, but to answer your question again, we're very on top of that. We want to make it as much analytically driven as possible, and the more statistics we can give you, the better decision you can make as a consumer.
So you said you are a millennial yourself, and I work in the golf business, and as a millennial, I'm a traditionalist too. Like I'm, if I have a golf shirt on, I don't have a tie on right now, but if I did, I'd have a tie on, and the whole I button my golf shirt to the top and I wear slacks when I play most of the time. And it's like, I that's in me, that's ingrained in me. So as a millennial working with clientele, that you said your average clientele is 55 or older, has that been a struggle for you? I mean, obviously your co-founder is a little bit older as well, but have you had a struggle being from that younger generation and trying to sell and communicate and work with the older generation? Or do you find that you've learned quickly to be able to adapt to that?
You know what? Actually, it's been an educational experience for me, because I'll be very open and honest with our clients and tell them that I am an entrepreneur. And most of these folks that are successful now were entrepreneurs at one point in their lives. And I'll ask them, where were you at age 36 with a wife and 2 kids? What was life like? How did you balance things? And that education that I've gotten from those clients is tremendous for my development. But it also gives them an appreciation of who I am, that they were in my shoes one day, and they feel comfortable opening up. And so there hasn't been as much of an issue as you might think. And not only that, the PGA of America does a wonderful job of teaching you how to communicate with members. And that's one thing that's in our DNA as golf professionals. So it's kind of second nature, to be honest with you.
So as a PGA member, what was that process? Why did you want to become a PGA member? Did you think you were going to be given lessons and going through that whole process? Kind of like, when did you wake up and know that you wanted to be a PGA professional? And kind of walk me through that journey from your realization to where you are today.
Well, for me, actually, on a personal level, it started with a very bad car accident. So I was an engineering student in Michigan, and in Florida visiting some friends for spring break, and going back home, driving through Tennessee, a drunk driver hit me and was ejected out of the car. And so this is on major interstate I-75, and I'm rolling, and headlights are going whizzing past, and I wasn't hit. And I stood up, but I had a lot of road rash, and it ended up being bedridden for a couple months so my skin would grow back. But during that time, that's when I thought, you know what? I don't want to go down the same road that everyone else has gone down in Michigan with the engineering thing. So I'm gonna heal up. I'm gonna move to Florida. I'm gonna get in the golf business and play golf for a living and help people. And I got this wonderful second chance, and I'm gonna do something cool with it. So moved to Florida in 2004 and got on the PGA right away. Met my now business partner, mentored underneath him, and have been there ever since. And spent a couple times as head golf professional in a few different spots. Worked for the First Tee for a while. But then this whole project stemmed from a graduate school project I was working on that turned into a business. And so it's very rare that a PGA member doesn't work on the green grass traditional side of the industry. And we're one of those that jumped away from that and started something cool. And the PGA loves what we're doing. They're focused on the corporate guy and the kids, and we're focused on the baby boomers, the ones that are playing right now. So I think it's a good mix. And yeah, so that's kind of been the transition to my PGA career, but I wouldn't change anything for the world. It's been a fabulous experience.
So I have to say, I have an engineering degree from Purdue, and I'm in the golf business. But you have, I don't want to say a cooler story, but that's definitely mine is, I just didn't want to do it, and I like golf. So that story is inspirational. I can see, I'm a blogger, so I can see a blog post, series of blog posts, a book, a movie. Like, you've got that whole story is just, that's pretty cool. You've got that to tell. So, there on the website, there's a lot of great information on your website, but you have something called it says ambassador registration. And I looked at it a little bit, but I'm not really sure what that means. So talk me through what it means when I go to the website and I click on that registration. What's an ambassador?
Well, earlier you asked us about our lead gen and how we advertise and market and whatnot. And the one thing that we have plenty of in South Florida are retired folks that play golf. And so we ran an ad in the newspaper this winter that said, do you play golf? Are you retired? And do you go north for the summertime? Well, that's 95% of the population. And so we hired these folks to come on our staff, train them on who we are with GLN and what the model is. And then they were deployed in May to go back home across the north. And so they're the ones that are out on the golf courses with their member friends, telling them that there's a system down in Florida, these guys that can help you out. And so they're one of those trusted advisor pipelines that we've generated. We have, I think today we have 78 ambassadors from Minnesota to Maine that are out there every day, telling people that we're here to help them and passing them our information. And it's a great platform for us to garner new clients.
That's really cool. Like, I mean, and I have a golf tournament that I do every summer, and I have an affiliate program that allows people that are playing in the event to be able to help promote the event to people that I can't touch. And that's kind of what you're doing right there with the ambassador program. So I dig that.
So you could be an ambassador yourself. You could go on, log in, and you're away you go. So
awesome. That's cool. Mm-hmm. So not an ambassador, but a partner. You have a ton of great partners on your website. And this is a two-part question, too. And this is why Eat, Sleep, Golf and I get along so well, because I have the exact same question, but phased differently. So they said you have some great partners. Who were some of your key partners, and how are they involved? And then I wanted to know, how does a brand become a partner? So two-part question, sure. And one good team in me and Eat, Sleep, Golf.
Sure. Our partners, the best ones we have are our sections that we're affiliated with. Our Minnesota PGA section, or Northern Ohio, New Jersey, New England, all PGA organizations that we work with that we're also contributing to their charity and foundation funds. So from an advertising point, you'll appreciate this. Instead of me spending $100,000 in advertising per year on newspapers ads, I would much rather pay referrals back to the referral source. In which case, if a PGA professional refers someone to me that needs help, I'm going to write a check to the charity or the section that they're a part of in a charitable donation. So we're helping their foundations garner funds to their scholarship programs. So those are the ones that are closest to my heart, and the ones that we're trying to and we'll get more partners of with Michigan and Illinois and the others. But those PGA partnerships are certainly key to our development. As far as additional partners coming on, we aren't really out there seeking partners, but at the same time, we're having a number of conversations with anyone that kind of shares in the vision, that wants to help people, that shares the same ethics that the PGA of America has. That's right up my alley, and then those are the types of people I want to work with. So we'll never be associated with working with bad people, put it that way.
That's awesome. Good companies hire great people, so I love that. So what are a couple of key elements that people should consider when comparing different private clubs? Because, I mean, I know of 10 that are within walking distance, technically, from where I'm sitting that are also different. I mean, every club is different. So what are the key elements that individuals should be looking for when considering a private club?
Well, I think it all goes down to what the client overwhelmingly wants. What's on their hierarchy of need? Is it different social programs? Does your spouse play? Is tennis and things of that nature, art or a book club important? Those are the granular things that we really try to dig deep into with the client and match make with the clubs. So for the client, it's very difficult to find on the clubs online is what their different social programs are and whatnot. So I would say if I gave any advice to the consumer, it would be to define that, and both male and female should define it. Even if she doesn't play golf, because we run into this a lot, I still want her opinion because it's going to help with the social aspect. And the others are little things like walking the golf course. Walking is a big deal for a lot of people. And in Florida, that's a rarity. You just can't walk a lot of golf courses. And for a number of reasons. One, there's long distance between the green and the tee. But two is pace of play and others. So that's a big issue. Practice facility is another one. If you're a golf enthusiast that plays 5 times a week and you're a 10 handicap, you're going to want a good practice range and facility. So you have to look at those things as well. So there's a number of different ways to go about it. And that's why the consultation period is so important, because until we have that discovery and listen and try to understand where you want to be in the next 5 to 6 years, it's every client case is so different because of the wants and needs of each of the spouses.
So I didn't tell you before we started, this was going to fly by, and we are like literally knocking on the door of a half an hour. And that was actually good timing because that was my last question, kind of. Because before I let you go, and it's been so cool learning about what this company does and how unique and niche it is. And it's not for everybody, but it's for a very large, I mean, to your point, that there are tens of thousands of people every week, let alone every year, that are turning an age that need to find that private club experience. So it's cool that this has been put into place. You said that you're going to be opening an office in Scottsdale, and the next time you're here, please do let me know, because I'd love to grab lunch or coffee or play 18 holes with you or whatever, just to be able to chat more offline about. Now I'm curious to how many strokes I get, because you're a PGA, so that means you have to give me, let's just say 5 per side. Okay, I'm just kidding. So, and you said that you played Weekopa from the tips too, and I don't play from the tips. I mean, hashtag tee it forward. You're a PGA guy. I appreciate that. So, but before I let you go, we have this segment called the Back Nine. It's just 9 fun questions. Let's stop talking business and start talking about you and golf. Are you ready for your Back Nine?
Let's do it.
Who is your favorite LPGA Tour player?
Paula Kramer.
Okay, that's a good pick. Let's grab a drink. What are you having?
Probably an IPA.
Oh, my man.
Or a Cabernet, one of the two. Yeah.
All right, beer is better, but I'm going to let that slide. You said IPA first, and I'm a hophead, so yeah. I can appreciate that. So what is I mean, obviously, millions of golf courses available to us, and then the private side, but what is the one publicly accessible course that I could book a tee time on tomorrow that is atop your bucket list that you've never played?
Public. Beth Page is public, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah, that would probably be it.
I play it on Xbox, but it's not the same. I shoot like 16 under on Xbox. I don't know if it would be that way in real life, though. What golf ball are you currently playing?
A Pro V1.
Okay, good call. That's what I play. Now, you're PGA, so I assume the answer should be, the question should be how many, but have you ever had an ace?
I've had 2, yes.
Nice. See, I feel like you either have none or more than one. Nobody's just got one. Everybody's got more than one.
Well, there's an asterisk next to my 2 because I worked at an executive golf course, so there was 11 par 3s, so I had 7 times the opportunity to get a hole-in-one every time I played. So
that's just you being smart, playing to your advantage. Like I can appreciate that. I dig that. My almost hole-in-one has a story, but that could take a completely separate habit. We should have a Wednesday match play where I tell that story, because that's a half-an-hour story in of itself. So now we talked about this before we went live, but you are actually at the PGA Championship this week, and it's weird because I feel like we just had a major like 2 weeks ago. Oh wait, we did. But you are at the PGA Championship this week. So who do you think is going to win? I mean, my God, there's a ton of names that you could pick, but who's your call?
God, DJ looked good again at the range earlier today when I was watching him. All those guys were hitting it pretty well. Jason Day was playing well as well. They all seem to be very happy. The golf course looks like it's in great shape. So I don't know, man. It's so hard to determine. Those guys are so good. And you never know, one guy can go low to the next. So
yeah,
I did stand next to Hendrik Stenson. I had no idea. I'm decently tall. I'm 6 feet tall. He's a giant. I didn't realize he was that tall.
That's awesome. I've never met him. I've only just seen him on TV and stuff. But that's funny.
He's a really nice guy.
That's cool. So Tiger's not playing, so I won't be watching, but we don't want to talk about that. That makes me bitter. Are you excited for golf to be back in the Olympics, even though 99% of the guys that should be there have bailed?
Yeah, kind of, sort of. I don't know how I feel about the whole thing. It's I'm certainly going to root, go USA, but I guess I'm thinking more about the Ryder Cup than I am the Olympics, and maybe it's just because the Olympics I got to see it to feel it and whatnot. I don't know.
Yeah, but kind of the same way. It's like, whatever. We'll see.
Yeah.
So now I said earlier I was going to ask you a question about my man Tiger. We've had a great conversation, and it's been awesome getting to know you. But I could shut the laptop based on your answer to this next question and just I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding. But now it's more of not a yes or a no, but why or why not will Tiger break Jack's record?
I think that he will.
Ooh! Oh my God, we just became best friends. Look at that! Oh my goodness.
Oh no, I'm a Tiger's the reason why I started golf in high school.
Me too.
And,
oh my gosh, this is awesome.
and I know that he has a lot of negative stories out there, but the 2 interactions I've had with him, he's been very, very nice and heard some good stories as well. But I think that I think it's all up top between the years right now. I think he just it'll eventually get past that. I think once he becomes humble and realizes that these guys are really, really good, he's going to have to bring his A game, that they're not going to have fear over him at the first tee like that happened for so many years. I think that he will be back, and I think that he'll get a couple. How many he gets, I don't know, but I don't think that the Tiger Woods story is over yet. It's gonna be fun to see. But I'm like you. I was I was sitting at the driving range today thinking, God, how cool would it be if Tiger walked up and just started hitting balls right now?
Nobody even knows he's gonna be there. He's just like, yeah, I want to play, whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
What I do to that point though, one, that might be the best answer to that question I've ever had, because most people say no. Is I think that he's finally to the point where he's realized he can't come back too soon, get hurt, and do this all over again. This is the second time he's done it. He knows he's 40, almost 41. He's got one more chance to come back. And I think he's finally realized that. Whoever's the one that told him, whether it was Nona Begay or whether it was Brandel Chambly or whether it was his mom just getting in his ear, he's finally realized what would it have done for him to come back this week? Nothing. He would have been the biggest thing in the news all week, regardless of how well he played. I think he comes back. He plays 2 times before the Masters next year. He plays the Masters, whether he wins or loses, he plays well. And I think that he gets one, I might even go as far as saying 2 next year. You heard it here first. I don't know. Maybe he gets 2 next year, but you're right. I don't think the story's over. And if it is, that's sad, because I remember the day that I saw him on TV, he made a putt at TPC Sawgrass on 17, where he did his first fist pump. He was wearing shorts, that goofy straw hat. And I'm literally sitting there watching it on TV, and I asked my mom, what's that? That looks fun. Well, now look where I am. I'm an engineer that works in the golf business, so go figure. Hey, and your final question of your hashtag Wednesday match play, and I can't thank you enough for coming on. This has been awesome. I know that you got a busy week ahead of you, the PGA Championship, but your final question is, what's next? You're just getting started, and you've already had a great success so far, but what's next for Golf Life Navigators?
Still 95 miles an hour. We've got a couple more events coming up, ending with the Ryder Cup up in Minnesota. Still getting the word out, putting some capital into expansion efforts, hiring more PGA professionals, getting talented people involved, fulfilling weaknesses we might have in one area to the next, and really just building our team. And for me, it's just continue to tell the story of these people that we're helping make the biggest buying decision of their lives, and their legacy is getting written through our guidance. So it's pretty cool at the end of the day, and will be defined when this is all said and done of how many people we've helped along the way.
Man, that's awesome. Well, I look forward to meeting you the next time you're in Scottsdale. And as with every hashtag Wednesday match play, is that you have to remember to eat, sleep, golf.